What's up, guys? It's Brian from Hashware Hub. It's about 8:25 a.m. April 11, 2018, and we got a brand new trading video coming right to you. But first, if you're new to us, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you guys are on YouTube, if you're on DTube and Steemit, please subscribe to us there as well. Links are down below, and if you're watching us directly from those platforms, thank you very much, and please subscribe and upvote our videos there too. So let's get right on into it. So last night we had quite a longish video, and so today I'm going to try to make up for that and make a much shorter video. But we got lots of good comments on that video, so definitely appreciate that. Let me adjust the mic here. So okay, so what are we looking at? Okay, we're looking at this small piece right now. Okay, and yes, some people had said, well, maybe we're overanalyzing it. And yeah, totally, we are. I mean, no question. I mean, look at what we're looking at right here. And as I zoom out, right, this is the top right here, and then this is everything going on right here, right? So what we're looking at is definitely small, right? I mean, it's not small like it's on like a 5-minute time chart. It's about a one hour time chart. But I like to look at these things because I like to give you guys an idea of what my thoughts are. A lot of people like there to be these huge projections and stuff like that, but that never works out. So and then by the time the time of the projection comes, nobody's even talking about that projection anymore. So I do like to do things on a little bit of more of a micro scale, and that's really about it. So so yesterday, yeah, we were going over a lot of things, but one of the last things we ended on was that BTC USD shorts. And one thing I want to clarify there is that I want to make sure you guys understand that the market has to go up by itself in order for that phenomenon to work, where the shorts have to start covering, right? Because their stop losses start activating, right? Their stop losses start getting hit. So let me review real quick, okay? So basically the theory behind this is that the market goes up, and the market goes up sufficiently to where people's stop losses on their shorts start getting triggered. And what does that mean? That means people then have to cover their short. They have to buy, which adds more to the buying volume, which pushes the price up even more, and it accelerates it, which then makes more people have to cover their shorts, right? And then more people start seeing the market going up, and then they buy as well. So there's very little offers to be found in the market, or the offers keep backing away, and therefore the price then starts rising. And that's the theory behind that, okay? So we're going to end there on that. But as far as what's going on with this right here, I would look at this as being us testing this resistance level of 6,872, and we're testing it quite a bit. Okay, now you could look at this in the way that some people look at this, where the more times we test this level, it's like a jackhammer on like a sidewalk. Eventually the sidewalk's got to break, and you're going to go through the sidewalk. In a similar fashion here too. Okay, all these wicks are lining up, and all these candles are lining up on this 6,872, okay, which is this 1 hour resistance level that we were keeping. Okay, the 1 hour support level, 6,784, is this line right here. Okay, and this is kind of this channel that we have going on. Okay, the 4 hour resistance, we're going to update this to 6,922. I'm sorry, we're going to keep it the same to 6,922. Which is a 4 hour resistance right here. Okay, right here. So, and the daily stays the same. So now let's start to take a look at some other things, right? So let's look at some RSI, some OBV, some Laguerre RSI, and try to discern maybe the direction of the market. So somebody once mentioned that OBV sounds like a type of STD, which I thought was pretty funny. But anyway, So what do we have here, right? So we have this RSI line that I drew a long time ago, this 50 line, and the market keeps on tapping on it, right? Keeps tapping on it. So this is different than what we're seeing here, right? This is different where we see the market tapping at this price line. So you would expect to see that that RSI would be, let me just draw a line real quick, right? You would expect to see that RSI would also be tapping on a line, on an RSI line towards the top, and it's not, right? It's not doing that. If anything, it's tapping on the bottom line, right? So that's a bit of a divergence there, right? So maybe the market's thinking about going down. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, if I look on an on-balance volume, and sometimes it's difficult to look at on-balance volume like this because it's not an oscillator, right? So I just double-click on it, right? And I look at it like this. And so what do we see here, right? So we see it's pretty straightforward. We see a trend coming down, right? And maybe we have some sort of a triangle right here, okay? Maybe. So maybe this is an A, a B, maybe we'd have a C, right? A D and an E, and maybe we would then go up. That's one possible way to go ahead and look at it. I don't like using ABCDEs all that much on balanced volume. They don't seem to work out all that well. Maybe this was the A, maybe this was the B, maybe this was the C, D, and E. Maybe that's the way. I mean, there's different ways of going ahead and looking at it, but I look at it more on an absolute basis as far as direction is concerned, right? I don't really start counting ABCDEs with unbalanced volume. I just haven't found that it really works out all that well. So that's that. Now we also have Laguerre RSI. Laguerre RSI is on overbought territory for quite some time. So look at this, right? So we had here, it crossed over to basically, right here to say that the market's going to be going up, right? And the market went up, right? And here it said that this were to cross down, right? And the market went generally down for a bit. Then it went back up again. Never got into oversold territory. Went back up again to overbought territory. And it's been there for quite some time, right? And then it tried to get back down to oversold territory. It never could do it. And then it went back up again. This is very atypical for Laguerre RSI. Very atypical, right? And what this usually tells me is stay out of the market. It usually tells me that there's no clear, decisive direction just yet, okay? But what this also tells me is that the longer this happens, the more likely it's not going to happen anymore. So my bet would be is that the next break we have is probably going to be the correct break in the right direction, which would mean down, right? If this is overbought, it would mean if we break down, come down, cross below this this 80 line, 0.8 line right here, okay, then that would lead me to believe that maybe we're going to sell off, okay? So at the same time, though, it would be kind of weary, right? Because I still have this overreaching feeling that possibly this whole thing may have just been a bottom formation, okay? Maybe we're just forming a bottom here, right? So let me zoom out for those that like to zoom out, right? And I do too when I say for those that like to zoom out. I do too, right? When in doubt, zoom out. I've always said that for quite some time now. Excuse me. So I don't know. This looks like there's a bottom forming here, right? Also at the same time, we have volume that's just like boom, plummeted. Right? Volume has plummeted. I mean, it's so low as it is, and it got lower. Right? So, and it got lower from like this area right here, right? So maybe that makes us like want to zoom in a bit. And what do we have, right? So what we have is oh wow, this triangle, right? This triangle started right about here. So maybe this triangle formation really is the correct formation, right? So maybe that is really what makes sense here, and that would I'd be perfectly fine with that. To be ending all of this, right? We're ending all of this, right, with a triangle formation. Totally makes sense, right? Totally makes sense. And to form a bottom in this triangle formation, makes sense too. So, or this wedge formation makes sense too. So, one of the things I also want to keep an eye out for is that we adhere to this line, right? Not this line. So the market doesn't come down and touch this line. Because if the market comes down and touches this line, well, then we have a different chart formation, I believe. Okay, I believe we have like a right triangle. Okay, we have a right triangle, descending right triangle. That means the market's then going to come down again, right? More times than not, that's what happens. It's like 68, 70%, something like that. So that's what I'm looking at there. Also on a 4-hour basis, right? On a 4-hour basis, the Laguerre RSI is also, topping out here, right? In a much cleaner formation. RSI hasn't been able to get over this 50 level on the 4-hour basis. Let's look at unbalanced volume. Unbalanced volume is, okay, it's coming down. It's maybe leveling out. Maybe if we see that this thing is leveling out, maybe. Let me draw it. Right? Maybe it's starting to level out. I wouldn't put too much, emphasis on that, but it looks possibly we could be leveling out. So maybe we get a correction, right, to satisfy unbalanced volume. Maybe we get a correction that comes down to this yellow line here, and then maybe we get a bounce up. Yeah, I know. Maybe I'm getting more bullish. I don't know. Wow. I know what's happening. I gotta go take my temperature. But at the same time, there is still a lot of bearish. There's a lot of bearish sentiment that's out there, and there's still a lot of fear. You can see the amount of people that are shorting this market. So, you can look at it in two different ways. You can look at it that people are fearful, and normally, if people are fearful, they're not shorting, right? If they're fearful, then they just want out. They just want this thing to end, and they're not going to open up a new position by shorting, right? I think the shorts are actually people that are trying to take advantage of the market, right? They feel like, kind of fool me once type of thing, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But that shame on me thing may not ever work out, because it seems like everybody's trying to take that same trade, and normally that doesn't work out when everybody's trying to take the same trade, right? So I think we're gonna leave it there for right now. I just want to see kind of give you guys my 2 cents right here. I'm looking for this thing to shoot up one direction or the other. You can start taking trades kind of around this level, this $6,600 level as far as the shorts are concerned, and you can have a target maybe of this 5,950 level. Excuse me, maybe a little bit higher is normally the way in which I trade it. And to the upside, you can use this blue line right here as possibly a trade to the upside. But regardless, I wouldn't want to see to go ahead and take a trade to the upside until I see Laguerre kind of satisfy itself. In other words, have another swing down. It's very infrequently does the market go ahead and propel itself from a point where the RSI, Laguerre RSI is already overbought. It does happen. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, look at it right here, right? The market propelled itself from here to here, right? But then eventually it sold off pretty hard, right? You see that it had to correct itself. So, anyways, that's really about it. Yeah, if you're gonna take a short position, look at the Laguerre RSI as far as possibly the market were to come down, you get to that oversold territory. If the RSI kind of ticks back up again, I would use that to go ahead and manage my stop losses, and will manage my taking profit as well. All right, guys. So let's leave it there for right now. Hope you guys have a great day and happy trading.